You don't get the chance to do that very often. We did hate each other and love each other and want to slap each other around. It was devastating.
You do realize how iconic The Last Picture Show was? After much debate and controversy, the film became a smash hit. A single moment determined the film's success or failure. Even though America loved The Last Picture Show, the picture had to be banned. But before we get to that part, let's discuss the whole film and all the events leading up to that chaotic scene. The Last Picture Show, Larry McMurtry's semi-autobiographical 1966 novel, was the basis for the 1971 coming-of-age drama film directed and co-written by Peter Bogdanovich. Timothy Bottoms, Cybill Shepherd, Cloris Leachman, Ben Johnson, and Ellen Burstyn are all part of the film's stellar ensemble cast. Sonny Crawford, Bridges, and Dwayne Jackson, Bottoms, are two best friends from high school, and the movie follows their lives as they navigate a small town in northern Texas from 1951 to 1952. Upon its theatrical premiere on October 22, 1971, Columbia Pictures' The Last Picture Show, which had a modest budget of $1.3 million, received both critical and commercial acclaim. Revenue for the picture was $29 million. The fact that it was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director, is another evidence of its success. Despite Ellen Burstyn and Jeff Bridges receiving more nominations, Ben Johnson was named Best Supporting Actor, while Cloris Leachman was named Best Supporting Actress. The 1987 novel by Larry McMurtry was the basis for the 1990 sequel Texasville, which was directed by Bogdanovich. Despite welcoming back many of the original cast members, Texasville failed to live up to its predecessor's critical and financial successes. The Last Picture Show remains a watershed moment in American cinema nonetheless, despite the passage of time. It was chosen for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry in 1998 by the Library of Congress due to its creative, historical, and cultural worth. An overview of the film's background. Peter Bogdanovich, a 31-year-old critic, screenwriter, and stage actor, has collaborated with his wife Polly Platt on the screenplay and production of Targets, also known as Before I Die. This was Bogdanovich's only foray into directing. While waiting in line at the pharmacy checkout, the inspiration to adapt Larry McMurtry's novel struck by happenstance. Bogdanovich was captivated by a novel called The Last Picture Show. He didn't find it very interesting at first, so he put it aside. A few weeks later, Sal Mineo, an actor who had shown interest in becoming involved but thought he was too old for the roles, sent Platt a copy of the book. It was his suggestion that Bogdanovich and Platt turn it into a film. Platt said that the novel was good, but he wasn't sure it would work as a movie. Bogdanovich, McMurtry, and Platt worked together on the film version of the novel. Steven Spielberg, an aspiring filmmaker and lawyer at Columbia Pictures, purchased the rights to adapt the book into a film and was hired on as producer. While visiting at Bogdanovich's house, Orson Welles suggested filming in black and white to get the desired look for the picture. Everyone agreed that it was a creatively sound option, even if it caused a stir at the time. Archer City, Texas, McMurtry's little hometown, which he renamed Thalia in his novel, served as the setting for the film. The ghost town of Anarene, which is near Archer City, was the setting for Bogdanovich's film. In addition, Sonny and Dwayne's last moment in the famous Cowtown, Abilene, Kansas, from Howard Hawks' Red River, 1948, served as inspiration for this choice. After filming ended, Bogdanovich returned to Los Angeles to edit the film using a Moviola. He edited the whole film without claiming editing credit as he thought his roles as director and co-writer were enough. He suggested Don Carr, who was assisting Bogdanovich with certain technical aspects of a different project at a nearby office, to the Motion Picture Editors Guild when they need an editor's credit. Although Bogdanovich oversaw an early cut, Carr said in retrospect that he had a major hand in shaping the film's ultimate form and improving it even more. Following an initial screening for industry insiders, the film's uncompromising portrayal of small-town life and innovative use of black and white cinematography propelled the Last Picture Show to fame. It showcases Bogdanovich's vision and collaborative attitude, and it was a landmark in American cinema history. The myth of production and shooting. Peter Bogdanovich, who adapted Larry McMurtry's acclaimed novel The Last Picture Show onto the big screen, had to think creatively in order to overcome several challenges. First and foremost, we had to find a perfect location that would do justice to the quaint Texas town from McMurtry's novel. Bogdanovich encountered practical hurdles as a result of Archer City, Texas's Cortry's hometown, its little size and insufficient infrastructure. However, this choice imbued the film with an unparalleled realism that perfectly portrayed the essence of life in rural Texas during the 1950s. We have to collaborate closely with the neighborhood to fix logistical problems so that production could continue uninterrupted despite these challenges. Working together not only simplified production, but also infused the picture with more realism by incorporating the town's unique character into the plot. Making a cinematic adaptation of McMurtry's intricate novel was an even more daunting task. Because of the complex characters and intricate narrative, the novel required careful adaptation to keep its essence while making it available to a larger audience. In collaboration with McMurtry and his wife Polly Platt, Bogdanovich meticulously turned the book into a film drama that revolves on friendship, youth, and the gradual passage of time. Coordination with McMurtry was critical for incorporating visual storytelling without straying from the core of the book. The film's innovative use of language was a major factor in its emotional and thematic success. Although color films were the standard at the time, Bogdanovich made an innovative artistic choice by opting to shoot The Last Picture Show in black and white. This aesthetic contributed to the film's period authenticity, while also highlighting its themes of nostalgia and loss. By emotively portraying the desolate Texas setting and the characters' intimate moments, renowned cinematographer Robert Richardson played a crucial role in realizing Bogdanovich's vision. The casting process was also critical to the film's box office performance. To discover performers capable of bringing to life the myriad of unique personalities developed by McMurtry, Bogdanovich, and casting director Jane Jenkins conducted extensive auditions. The casting of rising talents, Cybill Shepherd, Ben Johnson, and Jeff Bridges, with veteran actors Timothy Bottoms and Cloris Leachman, added dimension and authenticity to the ensemble. Bogdanovich's approach as a filmmaker allowed the actors to really inhabit their roles, since he placed an emphasis on character-driven storytelling and genuine acting. Both the audience and critics were captivated by the film because of this technique and Bogdanovich's meticulous attention to detail. The creative team behind The Last Picture Show worked together admirably, came up with innovative ways to overcome challenges, and never wavered in their commitment to staying true to the source material. The film's enduring force as an emotional portrayal of American life is a tribute to Bogdanovich's meticulous focus on detail, as well as the hard work of his performers and crew. J.C. Farrow, played by Cybill Shepherd. Cybill Shepherd's performance as J.C. Farrow in The Last Picture Show is a marvel of luck, skill, and Peter Bogdanovich's superb judgment. The world welcomed Cybill Shepherd into existence on February 18, 1950, in Memphis, Tennessee. Her striking good looks and magnetic personality set the stage for her meteoric rise to fame. Shepherd broke into the entertainment sector via modeling. Her major break came when she was crowned Miss Teenage Memphis. It propelled her into the modeling business in New York City. Her engaging charm and breathtaking beautiful looks catapulted her to stardom in the modeling profession, and she soon found herself on the covers of several publications. Casting for Larry McMurtry's novel The Last Picture Show included the upcoming Hollywood actor Peter Bogdanovich. A quiet Texas town in the early 1950s serves as the backdrop for a story that explores sexuality, loneliness, and the inexorable passage of time. The story's protagonist, the beautiful and ambitious high school student J.C. Farrow, played a pivotal role. Finding Shepherd was the end of Bogdanovich's luck. The instant he laid eyes on her on Glamour's cover, he was enchanted by her breathtaking beauty and the mesmerizing depth she seemed to capture in a single image. Bogdanovich was so confident in Shepard's acting abilities that she extended an invitation for her to audition for the role of Jaycee. There were a number of famous actresses competing for the part, and she had never performed before the audition. Still, Shepard's natural talent shone through. Bogdanovich was already certain that Shepard's inexperience would give Jaycee a youthful, authentic vibe after seeing her audition. She channeled the director's vision for the film via her raw talent. Shepard secured the role of Jaycee Farrow because to her chemistry with the cast and her masterful interpretation of the multifaceted character. Her hypnotic and unsettling portrayal of Jaycee was a big part of the film's success. Shepard had a much-lauded performance in her acting debut, which launched her successful career. The Last Picture Show, in which Cybill Shepherd played the role of Jaycee Farrow, was a turning point in her Hollywood career. She launched her acting career and solidified her reputation as a talented actor in this role. The Evil Pool Case. The sequence with Cybill Shepherd in the water is one of the most famous and much debated scenes of The Last Picture Show. Both critics and audiences were profoundly moved by the film's portrayal of the awkward tension between the allure of youth and the conventions of a small Texas town in the 1950s. The scene caused a stir before and after the film's debut, despite the fact that it was pivotal to the storyline. Shepard plays Jaycee Farrow, a socialite who, in this famous scene, tries to test the limits of her charm by seducing the men in her network. She initiates a game of strip billiards at the local pool hall. In the game, Jaycee slowly removes her clothing until she stands naked before the surprised and uncomfortable men. Some of the more nerve-wracking parts include Jaycee's complex mix of innocence and manipulation, her competing need for control and approval, and other similar issues. It was difficult to shoot the pool scene due to Shepard's inexperience and his strict views on nudity. Shepard, who had never acted before, found herself in a vulnerable situation as she played a character that was both intimate and public. Since there was never a written agreement stating that she may opt out of the nude sequences, she had little legal recourse. Director Peter Bogdanovich made every effort to assuage Shepard's fears after becoming aware of them. He proceeded to inform the cameraman and sound technician of the secret as he went around the set. Each actor in the scene was recorded separately to save Shepard any unnecessary embarrassment. Understandably, Shepard was anxious about the scene's potential repercussions despite these precautions. Her worst worries were validated when still photographs from the incident were published by Playboy magazine later on. The illegal distribution of sexually explicit images caused a huge uproar. Due to his feelings of being deceived and abused, Shepard decided to sue the magazine. Much discussion followed the case about actors' privacy and rights, particularly as it related to their portrayal of nakedness on screen. The dispute over the pool scene was only the start. After the incident, a broader debate about the necessity for explicit materials and clear enforced norms on nudity, as well as the ethical treatment of performers, began. The Screen Actors Guild issued new rules to protect actors from being coerced into doing nude sequences and to ensure that all agreements for such scenes were accurately documented and followed after facing criticism and threats of legal action. Despite playing appealing and sometimes risky roles, Cybill Shepherd was infamously cautious, especially when it came to cinematic nudity. Because of the conflict that developed between her public character and her inner beliefs, The Last Picture Show was a turning point in her career. Shepherd was born into an average Memphis, Tennessee household. Though she was born into a more liberal family, she never wavered from her conservative work ethic. Despite Hollywood's allure and opportunities, Shepherd's strong beliefs sometimes placed her at odds with the industry's expectations. Shepherd was forced to be more open and honest than she had ever been before for the role of Jaycee Farrow in The Last Picture Show. Since Jaycee was the central character, the film's exploration of sexual awakening and the complexities of adolescent desire required scenes that were intimate and often explicit. On set, Shepherd's traditionalist beliefs on nudity were a source of tension. With first, she felt anxious and embarrassed with the prospect of bearing everything on camera. Her own emotional discomfort, together with her strongly held beliefs and upbringing, contributed to her reluctance. Since director Peter Bogdanovich was aware that Shepard had reservations, he dealt with them sensitively. He was cognizant of the moment's relevance to the film's reality and emotional impact, while also honoring Shepard's boundaries. Thanks to their considerate negotiating and friendly discourse, which led to a compromise, Shepard was able to portray the role with conviction and honesty. Shepard's performance was enhanced, not diminished, by her nudity-phobic sentiments. Her acting skills shone through as she believably depicted JC's internal struggles and vulnerabilities without using explicit violence. The critics and spectators alike were captivated by her nuanced portrayal of the character. Findings and further investigation. There was a public uproar, lawsuits, and industry-wide changes after the controversial pool scene from the Last Picture Show. A nude J.C. Farrow plays strip billiard scene that polarized critics and moviegoers and ultimately affected the film's box office performance. Upon its 1971 premiere, The Last Picture Show received a variety of critical reactions. The film's portrayal of young people and the deterioration of small communities was genuine and moving, but the graphic violence in the pool scene infuriated many. Critics and fans alike praised the scene for its bold artistic statement, which highlighted the film's themes of sexual awakening and moral decline. Some people believed it was exploitative and gratuitous. Thus, there were heated debates over what is considered civility in movies. The explicit content, especially because it included a young actress like Cybill Shepherd, who was just starting out in the film industry, made things worse. The scene's crude depiction of teenage sexuality offended many conservatives of the time. A broader societal response occurred because it made viewers feel uneasy. The uproar surrounding the photo was intensified when unofficial still shots from the pool scene made their way into Playboy magazine. Shepard felt very deceived since she had expressed her concerns regarding her nude scenes. Even if someone had assured her that she could avoid such situations, she couldn't put her faith in such assurances since they weren't legally binding. Shepard chose to sue Playboy after the distribution of the images, and the matter garnered significant media attention, illuminating the lack of rights for performers surrounding the illicit use of explicit photographs. As the conflict heated up, many moral watchdog groups and community organizations began campaigns condemning the film. Particularly the pool scene, these groups argued that the sexual scenes were offensive and harmful to public morals. Their main concern was that the content may undermine young people's morals and send society's standards tumbling down. In more conservative areas, the film's portrayal of teenage sexuality was seen as especially insulting, which intensified the criticism. Following public outcry, local officials in some U.S. cities and towns banned the film. Theaters that screened The Last Picture Show were threatened with boycotts and legal action. The distribution of the film was significantly affected by these restrictions, which in turn reduced its potential audience and earnings at the box office. It was pulled off screens completely in some cases, and several cinemas only let adults in. Banning The Last Picture Show sowed cultural divisions in the United States in the early 1970s, pitting proponents of artistic freedom against those who favored more government control. On a smaller scale, this reflected the societal tensions around art, sexuality, and morality. There were also huge changes in the film industry as a result of this tragedy. To protect actors from exploitation, the Screen Actors Guild implemented more stringent rules regarding performers' exposure to nudity. Thorough documentation and mutual agreement were required prior to filming explicit sequences to guarantee that performers were sufficiently informed and had provided their express consent, as required by these standards. The purpose of this adjustment was to prevent problems like the one involving Cybill Shepherd and Playboy by allowing artists greater control over their public reputations. Despite the controversy and bans, The Last Picture Show received critical praise, earning 8 nominations and 2 awards. Because it shows human interactions and societal norms so honestly and rawly, many see the contentious pool scene as a turning point in the film. The film's success and the ensuing discussions changed the course of American cinema by calling for a more nuanced approach to divisive topics and drawing attention to the importance of ethical considerations in the industry. The artistic achievements and controversies surrounding The Last Picture Show guarantee that it will forever be an important film in American cinema. Reviewers and audiences alike were deeply affected by the film's honest portrayal of coming-of-age, sexuality, and small-town life. In the process of questioning conventional wisdom, it ignited important dialogues about artistic autonomy, censorship, and performers' rights. A monument to the history of The Last Picture Show, which is a reflection of cinema's potential to reflect and shape cultural debate, is studying and enjoying it decades after its debut.